Is Bitcoin a good place to put your pension? A UK advertising regulator has recently banned an ad by cryptocurrency exchange CoinFloor, which promoted investing in Bitcoin using your pension. It was flagged as being socially irresponsible and misleading. Welcome to Cryptonomics, where we highlight the empirical rise of cryptocurrency as it dominates the world. Today, Bitcoin versus pensions. The ad in question was aimed at pensioners. Somebody launched a complaint about the ad, stating the ad was misleading, that it failed to make clear the risks associated with Bitcoin investments, that it was socially irresponsible because it suggested that purchasing Bitcoin was a good way to invest savings or pension. Here's the thing about pensions, which I didn't know until recently, that they're basically just a big Ponzi scheme. In this global news article, a Canadian publication, but this does largely apply to the Western world as a whole, it says, pension skeptics generally call it a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme, or a pyramid scheme, if you don't know, is an investment scam that uses money from newly acquired investors to pay returns to the older investors. The scheme works only as long as the fraudsters are able to bring in fresh money by duping new clients. When that's no longer possible or no longer works, the whole thing typically comes crashing down. It's easy to see the connection between a Ponzi scheme and we'll take the Canadian government pension plan known as the CCP, which generally uses contributions from workers to pay for retirees. Essentially meaning that current workers, millennials, are paying for the previous generations. Theoretically, governments, unlike private companies, could keep that going as long as there are new generations entering the labor force. The problem with that, though, is that people don't necessarily reproduce at a steady, consistent rate. The current millennial generation, my generation, along with many Western countries, have been grappling with the tsunami of baby boomers who are starting to retire, leaving behind a smaller pool of younger workers. The US, to cite just one example, may have to start trimming back Social Security benefits as early as 2034 to compensate. Now, I always thought I was paying into my retirement with what we have in Canada. I am Canadian, the CCP. But I recently learned that's not the case. We pay for the current retirees, kind of like a pool of money that is then handed out to the current retirees. But as my generation is having little to no kids at all, the upcoming workforce will be substantially less, meaning less for the pool. A lot of my generation is into gig jobs. I myself am as well, that may not pay into the pension plan like a traditional job would. And on top of all that, automation is taking what little jobs are left and they're not paying into any pension plan. Maybe a Rust plan, but definitely not a pension plan. Circling back around to the UK ad, I really wish I could show it, but was unable to find it. But here's kind of the transcript of what happened. The full page spread contains a photograph of a CoinFloor customer with a personal testimony about how she had invested part of her pension into Bitcoin via the platform. Today, there is no point keeping it in the bank. The interest rates are insulting, it reads. This is why when I receive my pension, I put a third of it into gold, a third of it into silver, and the remainder into Bitcoin. To me, Bitcoin is digital gold, and it allows me to take the steps to secure the cash I already have. The article goes on to say, in its defense, CoinFloor said the ad represented the perspective of a customer rather than the company's own view. And it noted the disclaimer, which it claims to have been significant enough or sufficient enough to mention that investing in cryptocurrency involves significant risk and could result in losses. However, the article said the small font size and how low positioning of the text meant the details had not been displayed clearly enough. This is not a new problem. In fact, it's been around long enough for them to title it. It's called the pension crisis or the pension time bomb. The pension time bomb issue highlights some of the things I've already said before, like lowering birth rates, but also brings up some other issues. Shifting demographics are causing a lower ratio of workers per retiree. Retirees are living longer, increasing the relative number of retirees. Lower birth rates, decreasing the relative number of workers, especially relative to post-baby boom generation. In 2008, the estimate for the underfunding of the United States pension program ranged from $1 trillion to $3 trillion. In August 2010, that value rose to approximately $5.4 trillion. Some economics question our ability to address the problem by saving now. Storing funds by governments in the form of fiat currency is the functional equivalent of storing a collection of their own IOUs. Since the government is responsible for printing the currency, the act of printing now, saving it, and then releasing it into circulation later is the economic equivalent to simply printing it later. The subject and the hoarding of cash by the government today to address the later crisis, it's basically a non-solution. Back to the ad, not counting the disclaimer issue, the ad does mention that the person speaking only invested a portion of their overall holdings and did not invest all of it. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin is the best investment for retirees. The crypto market is a volatile, unfeeling place that if you need that money, you probably should not do something where you're playing chicken with it. But that being said, the government, after all these years, has not been able to find a solution to this problem that they already knew was going on. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just here to inform. But if you don't find a solution, you can't expect people to just sort of sit on hands and hope for the best. UK's Advertising Standards Authority said that the ad in question must not appear again in its current form. They said, "We told CoinFloor to ensure that future marketing communications made sufficiently clear that the value of investing in Bitcoin was variable and could go down as well as go up." Which, I mean, come on, that's everything. I don't think these people have lived this long and they should not know that every market goes up and goes down. They continue to say that CoinFloor and the Bitcoin market are unregulated and that they should also not irresponsibly suggest that purchasing Bitcoin represents a secure investment in one's saving or pension. I do agree to some degree, but is it any better than money, which is being printed by the buttload right now and is constantly losing its value? CoinFloor said there is no suggestion in the ad that the customer's actions constitute a wise or secure investment, and that neither CoinFloor nor the customer had claimed that investors would make money by investing in Bitcoin or recommended consumers should invest in Bitcoin. I mean, you kind of did. My problem with this statement by CoinFloor is that they say whatever they want. The ad is saying that Bitcoin is a good investment, whether it says it outright or not. You want people to use your app or whatever to purchase crypto. I don't like this like weird kind of like, well, we didn't say it. It's like, well, you did. Your entire company did. Your ad says it without saying it. You know what you're doing. Retirees are looking to have more money as they don't work anymore, right? But even worse, and I want to say CoinFloor is doing this on purpose. I don't know that. But they have a retiree on screen talking about how she spent her pension, information that is most relevant to retirees, about a market that most millennials don't really understand themselves, and you want older people to invest in it. This is a rather irresponsible way to try and onboard the elderly. And I think CoinFloor thinking that, like, well, we didn't really say anything. I don't mind the testimony of the person, but you put that out there because it come off as a good image for CoinFloor, for older people, and for Bitcoin, which is your business, right? And like I said, my own generation doesn't understand how cryptocurrencies work. Nobody understands when I mention ADA. They know Ethereum and they know Bitcoin as an idea. They don't even know what they do. They don't realize that Ethereum is a platform where you can build dApps on. They don't even know what a dApp is. And you want older people who I even hear this on a regular basis, that older people getting scammed by phone scams instead of just hanging up on them. I don't even trust real people that call me anymore. I assume it's a scam the moment anybody's calling me about anything. And I'm not saying old people shouldn't invest in crypto. Obviously, I'm invested. I love crypto, duh. But if I'm wrong, and there's a possibility that this whole thing could come crashing down to my face, I'm still young enough to weather it. And I'm not putting all my money in it or the money that I need. Every dollar out of that pension is most likely money that person needs. I want to end with this final article from CoinDesk. A New Zealand fund management company, a growth fund, has invested 5% of its money in Bitcoin, according to a report by the local news outlet Stuff. The growth strategy fund, which had 350 million NZ, which is about 244 million USD at the time, in assets at the end of December, began investing in cryptocurrencies in October of 2020. The fund chief investment officer told the outlet he expects competitors to follow suit over the next 5 years, adding, if you are happy to invest in gold, you can't really discount Bitcoin. Take from that what you will. Adoption continues and companies, investment firms, and what have you clearly see a benefit and a potential for this market. Anyways, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take the time to leave a like and come back for more. Don't forget to comment down below while you're down there. Thanks for watching.